processing. His group is engaged in various aspects of materials processing, properties, and characterization. Research programs in his group aim at constructing a quantitative and predictive understanding of the phenomena underlying the materials development for industrial application. His group employs a variety of experimental and computational tools to establish the process, structure, property, relationships in materials. Now I would request Dr. Ajay Kumar sir to start this session and share your valuable thoughts with us. Please, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Vishwas. Thank you for your kind words and introduction. Now, can I share my screen? Okay.
Sir, please share.
Yes. So, can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. Visible.
Okay, good. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. So let me, before I start, let me just ask, I want to know how many in the audience, how many faculties, how many students are there. Then accordingly, I will I will explain during the presentation. Dr. Namrata?
Yes, sir. All our faculties, sir.
Okay, all our faculties. Okay, good. Okay, so welcome to this talk. So today I will be talking on friction stir processing of metal matrix nanocomposites and opportunities for next generation composites in India. So most of you will be aware about the metal matrix composites, and some of you will be working in this area as well. So my talk will cover the following. I will start with introduction of composite materials, and then introduction of friction stir processing, and then I will discuss two case studies of FSP composites based on copper PDC metal matrix nanocomposites and aluminum TiO2 metal matrix nanocomposites, and then I will discuss the application of these MMCs, and then I will spend time on discussing the next generation composites, and then scope of these composites in India. So as all of you will be knowing about the composite materials, it contains two or more distinct materials with significant different chemical, physical, and physical properties. And as you know, the composite materials include matrix, reinforcement, and interface. So these three components are there. Based on the classification of different composites, particle reinforced, whisker, or short fiber reinforced composites, or continuous fiber composites. So I will focus more on the particle reinforced composites. Why we choose these composite materials? Because they have high strength with lightweight, improve stiffness, and they can also be used in high temperature conditions. Okay, so you can see there are various applications of these composite materials, and we will be discussing these applications after this technical presentation. Let me take you towards the market of these composite materials. Why there is so much interest in these materials? Because if you see this slide, metal matrix composites have good market in most of the countries. So if you just take example of our India, so in India, it has very rich history of developing the composite materials. It started long time back in 1970, 1980s. Okay, and then today also a lot of work is going on in this area, and now new type of next generation composite materials are being developed. If you see the number of publications in this area, you will be surprised to see that India is publishing more number of papers compared to other countries. Okay. Now, you will be aware about the different processing methods for making these composite materials. You have the vapor deposition, you have the liquid state processing, you have the solid state processing. And each process had its own pros and cons. So in today's talk, I will be focusing on the new method, friction stir processing method, to make the nanocomposite materials. When you talk about the composite materials, you also should know about the strengthening mechanisms which are operated in metal matrix nanocomposites. So there are 4 types of strengthening mechanisms. They are operated in the metal matrix nanocomposites. First is the grain refinement strengthening. There we talk about the Hall patch strengthening, then Orobond. Then comes to the Orobond strengthening. Okay, where you have the dislocation loops, dislocation interactions. Then another mechanism is the coefficient of thermal expansion mismatch between the matrix and the reinforcement. And then you have the load transfer. Okay, so these mechanisms are operating in metal matrix nanocomposites. When you talk about the powder metallurgy method of making composite materials, you will be aware about the milling process and then consolidation of the milled particles. So this comes under the powder metallurgy process, where you have the different type of ball milling, and then you reduce the particle size of the material, and then you do the compaction, either it is cold compaction or hot compaction, depends on the requirement. Okay. Now, when we talk about the composite materials, we are aware that the metal matrix nanocomposites have high strength to weight ratio, high thermal stability, low coefficient of thermal expansion, and high wear resistance. Because of these features, we are interested to develop these materials. We are also aware that the size, shape, content, and distribution of the dispersoid matrix interface bonding, and the microstructure properties, they are the controlling parameters for the performance of these materials. So when you see the stress strain plot for these materials, you will always see those materials have high strength. So if you take example of this stress strain curve, where you have aluminum 4.1%, Al and P, and then you have aluminum 16.4% Al and P. So what you see from this stress strain diagram, you have the high strength compared to the base material, but you see the toughness of this material, a composite material, is not great. It is reducing compared to the aluminum, or it has less deformation compared to the base material. So that's why these composite materials have the limited use in automotive industries or aerospace industries. And there is a challenge. This is a challenge. The challenge is reproducibility, uniform distribution of the fine second phase particles, and the sound dispersoid matrix interface. So here we are focusing on developing the composite materials where we can get the high strength, as well as we can also get high toughness without any reduction in the percentage of strain. Okay. So that is why we are using an innovative idea of utilizing the friction stir processing method to make the new composite materials. So as you know that we have mechanical alloying, we have solidification processing as a conventional methods for making the composite materials. At the same time, we have the limitations. We have the poor interfacial bonding and poor wettability between the matrix and matrix and reinforcements. We have the problem of agglomeration, fatigue fracture, impact resistance, porosity, and we use more manpower energy to produce these composite materials using the conventional methods. At the same time, we also face the problem of cost and recycling. Okay. So when you make the composite materials using the conventional methods, for example, metal casting. Okay, casting is very well-known method for making the composite materials, and there are scientific issues when you use the casting for making these MMCs. First issue is the transfer of reinforcement into the melts, then movement of reinforcement into the melts, effect of reinforcement on viscosity, fluidity of melts, effect of reinforcement on nucleation growth and microsegregation, and then engulfment or pushing of the reinforcement particles by the solidifying interface, and then effect of distribution, bonding, volume fraction on physical and mechanical properties of MMC. So these are the scientific issues. These issues are still there, and a lot of research needs to be done. It has a lot of scope of research to address these scientific issues. Now let me introduce the friction stir processing method. You will be aware about this method very well. This method is based on the friction stir welding. So this is the schematic of the friction stir processing, where you have the friction stir processing tool which rotates at high RPM, and then you plunge it into the material. Okay, then it will also traverse to a particular direction. So if it is a welding, then you have the two metal plates, and along the welding direction, this tool will traverse. Okay, so you have the tool rotation, you have the downward force, as well as this tool will move along the processing direction or welding direction. Okay, so when you have this processed material, you get 4 types of zones. The middle one is the stir zone. So this zone is also called the composite zone if you are using this process for making the composite materials. And then you have the thermomechanical affected zone, heat affected zone, and then you have the base material. Okay. But now we are talking about utilizing this FSP process for making the composite materials. So you know that in MMCs, you have the reinforcements, which are hard ceramic particles, and then you have the metal as a matrix material. Okay. But when you use this process for making the composite materials, as I mentioned, that you have the FSP tool. Okay. So when this tool will interact with the hard ceramic particles during the process, you will have a lot of wear or a lot of material removal from the tool. It means that the tool is getting mixed into the metal matrix, and you will get the undesirable properties. Okay, so you need to avoid this tool wear, and this is a great challenge. How will you avoid this? Okay, so this work was reported in 2004, where they conducted a study on the aluminum-based composite materials on different RPMs, and then reported the tool wear. Okay. Now, to avoid this, we have come up with an idea that, okay, we want to make the MMCs using this process, but we need to avoid the tool wear, right? Now, the idea is to get the fine nanoscale particle distribution, to remove the all possible defects of conventional MMCs, and to avoid the FSP tool wear and homogenize the microstructure. And at the same time, we should improve the mechanical properties, high strength and high ductility, right? So now we have innovated an approach where we mixed the cross-linked polymer, and this cross-linked polymer will be mixed into the metal matrix, and then if it is polymer, then during the process the temperature will rise. So the temperature is sufficient to convert this cross-linked polymer into the ceramic phase. So you have the cross-linked polymer, and then you are targeting to make the MMCs where reinforcement should be in the ceramic phase. So this is a very special type of polymer or polymer derived ceramics, where during the mixing it has polymer phase, but in situ it can be converted into the ceramic phase during the pyrolysis. So during the pyrolysis you will see a lot of gas evolution due to the temperature and reactions. So those gas evolutions will create the voids or micro voids in the material. So it will become porous, okay? So if it becomes porous, it means that we cannot use that material. So you have to remove the porosity, then you do the multi-pass FSP process to remove the porosities and redistribute the particles in the nanoscale. Okay, so this is the approach, and this idea we published and patented in 2015. So let me tell you about the PDCs materials. They are very special type of ceramic materials formed by the pyrolysis of pre-ceramic polymers. So there are two type of categories of these polymer derived ceramics. So you can have the silicon carbonitride or silicon oxynitride based PDCs. So when they convert into the ceramic phase, you will get the silicon carbide and silicon nitride. Okay. So this material, a lot of work has been done on this material. It is a well-established material. So you have the polysilicons and polysilicarbonamides. There are two categories, and then you can convert these polymers into the ceramic using the pyrolysis process. Okay. Now, there is a work reported on using these PDCs in casting as well as powder. Okay. So when people try to use these PDC materials in the casting process, they found the agglomeration of the particles due to the van der Waals forces and porosities. And when they use the powder metallurgy process, and they did not get the nano size distribution. Okay. That is why we have used the friction stir processing method. So this was the idea that, okay, we will disperse the polymer, cross-linked polymer into the metal. So this is the drawing of the sample. This is the 6 mm copper plate. We use copper as a matrix material. and PDC other reinforcement. So we made the groove and the holes to insert the polymer particles in these things according to the volume percent of the PDC materials. And then this is the 5x6 fixed sensor welding machine. This machine we used for making these composite materials. And this is the design for the FSP tool. Okay. So we use the 6 mm thickness of plate. Okay. And then you can see here the design of the tool. So then we did the FSP on the matrix material copper as well as on the composite. We optimize the process parameters. So we did the 4 multi-pass processes at 1500 RPM and 25 mm per minute tool speed, and tool tilt angle was 3 degree. So this tool tilt angle is very important in friction stir welding process. In previous talk, you must be knowing this tool tilt angle provides backing a forging force or supporting. If you don't have this, then you will have the lot of cracks during the process. Now let me take you towards the microstructure. When you see the annealed copper microstructure, you can see the grain size of this copper around 400 micron. And then the silicon carbon nitride, the polymer cross-linked powder, we got around 5 micron. Okay. What we did in the first step, we mixed this cross-linked polymer into the copper matrix and did the 4 multi-pass. So you can see here in the first pass, from the first pass to the fourth pass, the size of this polymer particles is decreasing, and it is going into the nano scale. Okay. So when you take the microstructure of these composite materials, so these are the scanning electron microscope pictures, micrographs. You need to be very careful while taking these pictures because they are all polymer particles. So you need to control the voltage or power of the system. Otherwise, these polymer particles can burn, and then you may not able to see those particles inside the matrix. So we fix our voltage around 5 to 10 kilovolt while taking these pictures from SEM. As I mentioned in the previous slide that during the process the temperature will rise, and the temperature will help in the pyrolysis of the cross-linked polymer. So during the pyrolysis you will see a lot of voids, and that we can also observe from the microstructures that a lot of voids and cracks are there in the particles. Okay. Then we did the multi-pass processing on the same porous materials and redistributed the ceramic particles, and we again did the multi-pass process, and you can see there is no voids, but you can see the distribution of these PDC particles inside the matrix. Okay. To further study and understand the distribution of the PDC particles, we did the EPMA mapping and understand the distribution of the PDC particles. All the elements are present. Okay. Then we also understood about the fracture of these PDC particles. So we are talking about now distribution or dispersion of these PDC particles in the metal matrix. We also should know how these PDC particles are getting distributed into the matrix during the process. So as you know that during the FSP process, the tool rotates at high RPM, and due to the lot of shear forces generated during the process, those particles will be fractured. So you can see the shear fracture on these particle surface and detachment. And these particles will keep on fracturing until they reach to a critical size. Okay. We have also confirmed the transformation of the polymer phase to the ceramic phase. And what are the ceramic phases we have got Si3 and 4 and Si from the X-ray analysis. So as I mentioned that during the pyrolysis, you get a lot of defects or voids in the matrix material or ceramic materials. So that material, that composite materials also is useful. That material will become a metal foam, and that you can use in various applications where you need to absorb a lot of energy or shock absorption. That material will help in those applications. So we can also develop the metal foam using the same approach, and you can also get the metal mantis nanocomposites. So with one approach, you are getting two type of materials for different applications, right? Then we also calculated the volume fraction of the particles present in the matrix, and then we did the grain size measurement of the composite materials. So you have seen, so in the previous picture you saw that the annealed copper has around 400 micron, okay, and then here this is the copper. So here we have 100 micron. When you have the FSP of the copper materials, MMCs, here you have the 2 microns, okay, and in this you can see 2 micron as well as 10 micron, okay. So you can see from 400 to 100 to 2 micron. So you are getting refinement of the grains during the process. And then to understand at the nanoscale, we did the transmission electron microscopic study, and we found that the distribution of these PDC particles are in the nanoscale. So here you can see 100 nanometer, and these particles are in the range of 10 to 30 nanometer. We also need to know about the interface between the matrix and the PDC particles. So you can see this picture is the high magnification picture, and you can see the scale here 20 nanometer. And you can see the interface between the matrix and the particle. It is very sound. There is no defect. It is intact, right? And then we also should know about the strengthening mechanisms which we discussed in the previous slide. And we found that the dislocations, entanglement, and the dislocations are pinned by these particles, and they will contribute in the strengthening mechanism of these composite materials. Now let us discuss about the mechanical properties. So we conducted a mechanical testing on these materials, and simple hardness test we did, and we have seen a significant amount of increment in the micro hardness, as well as at the nanoscale we have done the nano indentation, and we have seen the increment of the hardness. Now, interesting point which I would like to explain here. As I mentioned in the first slide, that these composite materials have limited applications in various places like automotives or aerospace, because they have high strength but they face problem of less toughness. But here we have demonstrated, we have proved that these composite materials are high strength as well as they have the high toughness. Okay. And then we have done the fractography study, that how the fracture of the materials or particles is taking place. And it is very simple. This is the example of the ductile fracture, and you can see a lot of particles also fracturing, but interface is strong. So this you can get from the detailed fractography study of the materials. Then further study we did on the strengthening mechanisms. As I mentioned, that these materials have, you can see from this stress strain diagram, the high strength, high yield, as well as the high toughness of the materials. Now, as I mentioned in the previous slide, that when you use the FSP method for making the metal matrix composites, you have the tool wear. Okay, that is the main challenge in this process. But we demonstrated zero tool wear or minimum tool wear in our work. Okay, so in our work multi-pass process, the tool was traveled almost 1.4 meter, and we have not seen any tool wear geometrically in the process. So this is the case study for the copper composites. Then similar type of study we did in aluminum titania composites. And here also we have demonstrated the distribution of titania particles in the aluminum matrix and how these particles are getting fractured during the process. So you have the bigger particle which is porous, and by multi-pass process these particles will be fractured and they will go to the nanoscale range. So this type of mechanisms we have developed to make these nanocomposite materials, and similar type of results we have got in these composite materials where you have the high strength, high yield, as well as the high toughness of these composite materials. Okay. We have also verified the experimental results with the theoretical model, and we have seen that yield strength predicted by the Orobon equation and the experimental yield strength, they are almost same. Then this is the example of the dislocations, multiplication and dislocation pinned by the titania particles in the aluminum matrix. And then you can see these are the grain boundaries, and these grain boundaries are pinned by the titania particles. So and these are the main, they are the high magnification images where you will clearly see the strengthening mechanisms are operating, which we have discussed in the previous slide. Third example I would like to show you is the aluminum graphene composites. Okay. So you know that graphene is the very famous material and it has high strength, and a lot of other applications are there. So we studied about the aluminum GNP graphene nanoplatelets composites. And here we apply the hybrid approach of making these composite materials. So here we have coated this GNP on the aluminum A356 alloy using the squeeze casting method, and then did the FSP to distribute this GNP on the in the composites. Okay, so let me show you the microstructure. So when we have applied this process, the first process was the squeeze casting, where we produce the coating of GNP on the A356 alloy. So this is like a surface composite. And then we carried out the FSP process on the sample. Okay. And then, as you know, this is the nugget zone after the process. So this is the composite zone here. And then you do the microscopic study to find out whether these nanoplatelets are embedded inside the matrix. Okay. And as you know that A356 is the silicon based alloy. So this is the GNP. This is the graphene nanoplatelets, which is embedded inside the matrix. Okay. And then you will also see the fine silicon particles. So here also, when we conducted the transmission electron microscopic study to understand at the nanoscale, so we have seen the aluminum matrix and the GNP flakes, and there is no defect at the interface, and the silicon particles were reduced. We have also seen the significant increment in the strength as well as the toughness of these materials. So here also you can see the similar results which I have shown you in the copper composites and aluminum titanium composites. So I have now given you the three studies where a similar type of results we have demonstrated. As I mentioned in the first slide, that the composites face the problem of less toughness, but they can have high stress when you use the conventional methods. But when you have the hybrid approach or advanced method of making the composite materials, then you can address those issues. So we have, if I summarize this work, we have developed the process where the tool wear is zero, which is the main limitation in the FSC process. We have developed the copper composites, aluminum titanium composites, and then A356 GNP composites with high yield as well as high toughness. Now let me take you towards the application part of these composite materials. So from this slide you will understand I have highlighted the locations where the composite materials are used. So this is the example of discontinuous MMCs. You can see here, this is the example of aluminum graphite antenna waveguide on Hubble telescope they use. Okay. And there are various applications where they use the lightweight, high strength composite materials in automotives. So you have the MMC crankshaft pulley, this is the cylinder bore, and this is the MMC disc brake rotor. Okay. Now let me give you the very important information which most of you will be interested in this. So there are selected companies or industries, they produce these composite materials. So most of the companies are the US based companies. In India also we have a few companies which are developing these composite materials. But most of the work is in the research stage. So now there is a huge scope where you can think of developing these composite materials. You can have a startup, your own startup for different applications. Now this slide will provide you the information about the aluminum MMC components for different applications. So take example of aluminum graphite. Aluminum graphite composites can be produced by gravity casting method, and they are used in cylinder liners. So if you take Ferrari, Hero Motors, these companies are using these composite materials. Aluminum silicon carbide, right? Nissan company, right? For piston, connecting rod, shock absorber cylinders, and alumina composites, cylinder liner, brake rotor, piston crown, piston ring, Honda, Toyota. These companies are making these components using these composite systems produced by these casting methods. Okay. Now, now let me show you the Make in India technologies. So in India, as I mentioned, a lot of development is happening, a lot of research work is going on. So this is the example of Make in India technology, where this is the example of pressure die cast aluminum silicon carbide composite brake drum application. Okay. So this is the work produced at CSIR lab, Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh, and then this is the example of functionally graded aluminum matrix composite materials. So this is the example of cylinder liners and gears, brake rotor, piston. They are all aluminum silicon carbide composites by ester casting method. Very good process, advanced process for making the composite materials. So this work is from CSIR Trivandrum. Now let me give you some ideas about the next generation metal matrix composites. So in the next generation composite materials, you will see self-lubricating composites, self-cleaning composites, and self-healing composites. So when you talk about the self-cleaning, self-healing composites, there are healing mechanisms operated in the materials. So when you have any crack inside the material, and if you are able to detect that crack during the operation, you should be able to heal that crack so that the life cycle of that material will increase. That is the idea. So a lot of work is now being done. At IIT Tirupati also, we are developing these materials, self-healing composite materials. So here you use different type of reinforcements. You can also use shape memory materials. You can use the encapsulated healing agents, okay, for developing the self-healing materials. If you are interested, we can discuss in detail. You can contact me, uh, and they are very important materials. So basically, there are different type of self-healing mechanisms operated in these materials. So one is the precipitation. You can use this precipitation concept for healing the crack. You can use the nano shape memory alloys, dispersoids. You can also use the solder tubes capsules, and you can also use the eutectic based healing, okay, to develop these materials. So this is the future materials in this area, and it is still in the research stage. There are some examples, studies on self-healing and safe recovering cast MMCs. So you can see here, this is the example of tin alloy reinforced with titanium nitinol microwires. So you can see this crack here, and then the same sample, they have healed the crack. Okay. So here you see composite casting can self-repair crack. So you can see at time 0 second, you have this deformation. And then after 36 seconds, you can see this deformation or crack is healed. Okay. So this is the cracked self-healing composites. Okay. So you can also see this example of self-healing epoxy specimen where you have the crack and then you can fill this crack partially. Okay. So then you have to understand the self-healing mechanisms and damage detection in the material during the operating conditions. Okay, so this is the future of metal matrix composite materials. Now, at IIT Tirupati, we have the advanced casting processes. What we offer is we demonstrate different type of casting tools. We have established the Foundry 4.0 at IIT Tirupati. We are demonstrating, we are doing casting simulations, we are using 3D printing and hands-on experiments in metal casting. We are also providing education, training, research, internships, and metallurgical skill development and outreach activities. We have the advanced casting process, we have the ester casting process, we have the vacuum die casting, squeeze casting, pressure infiltration, twin rolling system, advanced system of the casting process for making the different composite materials for different applications, including the self-healing, self-composite materials. Now, with this, I will end the research imperatives in this area. So, as I mentioned in the previous slide, the scientific issues which are still there and need to be addressed. Prevent agglomeration and clustering of micro and nano-sized reinforcements during the synthesis, reducing cost of the MMCs, recycling, developing property database. This is not available at all. So if you go to the literature, you will have hundreds of publications addressing different data. Okay, everyone is reporting some data, okay, and it is incremental data. So now there is a need to develop a property database to design any components using the composite materials. Okay, so already a lot of research work has been done. So if this database can be developed using the available published studies, that will be great help for developing the new components using the composite materials. Low cost, ultra high performance MMCs, large scale and long-term performance testing, right? And then we also need to have the improved theoretical models to establish a structure processing property. So conventional models may not be applicable to these next generation of composite materials. So there is a need to develop the improved theoretical models to understand the structure processing property relationships. So with this, I thank you and thanks for sparing time with us in today's talk. Now, I would like to take some questions. Yes. Yeah. Dr. Namrata, are you there?
Participants, if you are having any question, you may ask, sir.
Yeah. Any question, Dr. Namrata?
No, sir, not from my side. Participants, if you are having any question, you can ask, sir. Vishwas sir, it seems they are having no question, no query.
There is no question from anyone? Yeah. Anyone is working in these areas, Dr. Namrata, in your group or anybody's group, in the participants?
Sir, I am having one question.
Hmm.
Sir, sir, I have made some aluminum nickel titanium composites, and if I want to uh, measure the self healing characteristics of the composites, how it can be done?
Yeah, so if you have developed the sample, then you can so you need to develop the crack in the material, and then you have developed this healing mechanism for that crack.
For crack,
Yeah.
okay. After
So
phase
have you done any,
transformation,
I think, either
after
phase
some
transformation,
procedure, okay.
yeah, either a phase transformation or that mechanism you need to understand. And if you see the carefully, you have to look whether the crack is getting healed or not.
Okay.
So advanced characterization
So
and
amount
testing
of
is
crack
required.
healed is basically gives the self healing characteristics of the material.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
if anyone is having, yes, sir, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Any other question from the participant? Vishwas sir, you may take over the session now. Vishwas sir, Dr. Vishwas. Okay, it seems he is busy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
behalf of Mechanical Engineering Department, I, Dr. Namrata Gangu, Associate Professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, propose vote of thanks to our guest speaker, Dr. Ajay Kumar, who, despite his busy schedule, found time and delivered a very wonderful lecture on friction stir processing. So, thank you, sir, for a very inspiring lecture, very informative lecture it was. So, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Can I leave now meeting? Can I leave meeting now?
Yes, sir, yes, sir. You
Okay.
may.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So participants, the feedback link will be shared in the WhatsApp group by Nirmal sir. You may leave now.
So thank you sir, so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing the valuable knowledge with us. I request all the participants to fill the feedback form shared